What's going on, guys? Doing some tank cleaning. I kind of slacked the last few days. If you last remember, these guys had eggs. These guys were spawning, and unfortunately, they ate their eggs. And that's a question I get a lot when someone sees I do angelfish. They ask, "How do I get my angelfish to stop eating their eggs?" And David Morales, Philly angelfish keeper, recently asked me this question, so I figured I'd go ahead and talk a little bit about angelfish pairs and eating their eggs. These pairs that you see in this room are all about a year old, so they are new parents. They are older angelfish, but new parents. And oftentimes when you have a new pair or a younger pair, they eat their eggs, and it often takes them a lot of times to get it right. So here's a couple things that I've noticed about angelfish and reasons they eat their eggs. I've noticed that whenever the spawn is 50% or less viable, most times they'll just go ahead and eat the eggs. And it's simply just from a economic standpoint. If they're going to invest all this time and energy into a spawn and only a few are there, it's just easier to start over and keep rolling with it. Another thing they'll do is, even before that 48-hour period, before eggs start turning white, they'll eat them. Usually I notice that after the eggs start turning to wiggler stage and free swimming, they're less likely to eat them. But still, if they're younger pairs, if they're new pairs, they'll be more apt to eat their eggs a few times. It takes a few times to do this, to get the practice for them to actually be able to nail this down and get that thing right. Some pairs are better than others, so you will have pairs that just do it right the first time, every single time. This pair right here has spawned maybe 10 times, guys. So 10, 11 different times, and I have yet to get a pair of even wigglers out of these. Most of them aren't viable, even right now. If you see, a large amount of them are white, so I'd probably say 20% of them have sort of hatched out or are starting to hatch out. This pair will probably turn around and eat that spawn because it's just too much of an investment. Or they might go ahead with it, move the spawn, which is usually the next point. After the eggs hatch, the pairs tend to move the spawn to a different location. So they'll end up moving it. They'll end up getting to free swimming stage, and then the pair will end up eating them again. And this happens time and time and time again, and that's why people take the fry away most times, because of patience. A lack of patience. You gotta have patience, especially if you're trying to let the parents do this. You have to have patience, man. It's gonna take 10, 11 tries. If you're like me, I bought these guys from the size of a pea. I've spent the last year growing them up, and they've just paired up over maybe the last 3-4 months. I've already invested so much time into it that I'm more patient than someone who, let's say, would go out, buy a pair of bigger angelfish. And I've already invested too much time into it, so I understand that patience aspect of it. This pair right here just had a spawn a week ago, or a little less, and they got to free swimming stage, and then all the fry just balked out and died. Every single one of them. The pair didn't even eat the fry. The fry just didn't make it. And stuff like this happens. You have to have patience. You have to keep rolling with it. Provide stability, keep doing the same thing you're doing. If you're going in, switching shit up, always doing something different, you're not really sure if you are the problem or if it's just the angelfish. By keeping everything constant, you start to realize that, hey, the fish just got to kind of learn the whole process of it. Still waiting on what's going down here. I don't know if it's going to be good down there, though, because now the more I read, this fish doesn't like being in that type of area, easily spooked, so I'm not sure if that's even gonna work out, but we'll see. And if I have to move some things around, I will. The guppies and everything, doing good, rolling along. I enjoy coconuts, so what I do after I eat a coconut is I take care, first of all, to split it kind of evenly into 2 halves. And then after I'm done eating the coconut and I've peeled out pretty much as the meat of the coconut that I want, I go ahead and plop it in a tank. So this doubles up because, first of all, the little fish are going to be grazing on that coconut meat. pooping their brains out, no less, but they will be grazing. And then it'll double as a little hut later on in the future for my bristlenose plecos that I want to get into breeding those, but they're still young, so I have some time to go. Back to that patience thing. I'm really digging my little Variatus platies, man. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. And what's crazy is I've never owned a platy up until like now. So I've been in the hobby for, let's say seriously, I've been in the hobby for 10 years. Let's say seriously, you know, like tanking hardcore, not just having one little tank, but seriously been in the hobby for 10 years, buying and looking at fish. I've done saltwater, although not the best and grandest, but I never really got into platies or bought platies or, you know, and I kind of did it, took the plunge. It was just funny later on, it's like I'm getting back into the easy fish. So yeah, rolling along with that one. So basically what I got to do, because I've been slacking, is I need to obviously water change this tank. That's why the fake plant isn't in here. I took that out, and I don't really clean the fake plant, and I submerge it into another tank, because on that fake plant there is biological bacteria. So when you have a bare tank, and then also I have the world's smallest sponge filter, which is probably not the wisest thing to do, especially if you're kind of lazy and you don't feel like cleaning every goddamn day or every other day. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and siphon this out. I have a real easy system. Basically this thing right here, if you guys have seen these little 2-liter, it's just a 2-liter bottle inverted, drilled a hole in it and a hose, and right out the window. This way I don't gotta do the bucket thing. And I use these little clippies here. These are like a mainstay in my room, because now I can just take this guy, move it over here, and do the same thing, and it's real easy and convenient to drain and move water out of this room. And then of course, here's another thing. I need to invest in a thermostatic mixing valve, because right now I'm just using straight tap water, but I'm not doing the bucket thing. I just have my own hose line that runs into this room, and I kind of set it here, and it just does its thing until I need it. But I need a thermostatic mixing valve, because water out the tap, I mean, it's kind of cold, so I find myself having to do the top-ups very slowly and filling everything back up very slowly, just to not, the temperature drops, of course, but just to not do it too seriously. And when they have fry and stuff like that, I'm even more precise about it. But like, let's say in this case, there's no fry in here. These are adult angelfish. They're good. They just went over, got rid of the spawn, ate their spawn, but they have just spawned. You know, I know they're healthy, ready to go, so it's not going to really affect them or drive them nuts. Plus, it's been warm here, so that water will warm back up. I also heat the room. The room stays warm, not the tanks. Only a few select tanks have heaters in it. Boop, boop. And those 2 tanks, that's just because my shrimp colony's in there, and stability is key. And then I got another fish coming here, and you know, they kind of like it a little warmer. So that's it. Oh wait, also got these killifish eggs. Check out this date, the collection date, and then the hatch date. If you guys know something about killifish eggs, this is a major discrepancy here, man. Really pissed off and ticked off about that. Also, when I bought them, you know, it was advertised that when I receive it, it will be close to its hatch date. So basically this strain right here is like a 12 to 16 week incubation period, and these guys have it on here for literally 40 days. I mean, ridiculous. And I'm not sure if they did that just to make me happy, so I'm like, oh, I only gotta wait so many more days to hatch these guys out now. But I see, actually, that's kind of weird. Look, on the front there's an 8. So is it 8/15? Because that'd be more of a... But then why do they have June 7th? I don't know. This is what you get when you buy shit from Thailand anyways. But the package is pretty dope. And even the little cup it came in is a little more hardcore than some of the other, like, you know, dressing dishes, cups, whatever. But yeah. So I have a long wait to even get to enjoy these. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna get to work, drain some tanks. I gotta do these three for sure. These guys got eggs, so I'm probably not gonna fuck with them. But these three tanks for sure. And I actually need to get down there and remove the gravel, and I need to just overhaul that tank as well because she's starting to pass her eggs. She was starting to lay like a lot of. Every time she would lay, which has only been a few times, but first of all, she'd hold on to the eggs for a very long amount of time, and then she would, when she did lay, they would be coagulated in white right out of the papilla, and I've never really seen or witnessed that, so hey, you end up seeing it all. Also, never invest in just one pair of angelfish if you're trying to breed, because some pairs just suck ass at trying to raise their babies up. So that's why I have 5 pairs here. 1 or 2 will be my stunners that I keep. The rest I'll move on to someone else who's interested in artificially raising or whatever they want to do. And I can open up more tanks, and the plan is to get some more tanks, smaller tanks, because I want to start doing killifish. So I'll build like a shelf somewhere over here, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. Or maybe I'll keep them with me at my house. I don't know, we'll see. Never know. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna stop rambling and do some goddamn work, or else I'll never get anything done.